Hey, so what's good, everyone? In this very segment, I'm really excited because I'm going to talk about the very first website that can glow in the dark. And as you can see, I'm wearing this very beautiful hoodie, and it has this cat. And there is a very nice thing about it that it glows in the dark. So, I have a photo of this very particular hoodie that how it looks like in the dark. And I was just thinking about why not I make a website that can also glow in the dark, and no kidding, like it will actually glow in the dark. So I have a Google Meet link joined because I saw that that was the easiest way to screen share. I could have used scrcpy, but yeah. So if I bring it to some light, and I will just use my, yeah, I'll just use my laptop's light, and you can see that this particular screen right here, I will just move it in the middle, is actually having something called an ambient light sensor API, which is available in Chrome. And it detects that, yeah, there is some light that I have, and because of this, it shows you this light color version. And if I just move my finger, then you have these eyes also that can move like as the mouse hovers or as the touch movements. And if I place it in the dark, or if I just put my hand here, and you have this other version of the Schrodinger cat effect. And we are going to make this in this very segment, and would be the first website that can glow in the dark. I just tried to look it up at other places. I could not find anyone who has made this. So yeah, I'm claiming that this will be the first website that can glow in the dark that we have made. And yeah, it just again got brightened up. So let's take a look at it. And to take a look at it, I have a very good example here. This is the minimum code low cognitive example of it, where you do not have a lot of function to, so that you can understand what exactly we are doing. And for this, I'll be moving to glitch. Usually I love using CodePen, but for this example we need HTTPS, and for HTTPS I am using glitch. So let's take a look at the HTML that we have here. There is nothing much here, but still we will take a look at it. So there is a class of box, and there is a paragraph tag with the class of illuminescence. So this box and this illuminance would be given a value of na, and this has, like, you can see this is particularly white. And we have a css that is making a outline around this box, giving it a size. And now we look at the JS. So the JS is telling me to init this ambient light sensor. The ambient light sensor, I will just show you what it is. So if I go to, and I will be using MD and web docs, ambient light sensor, which is the best source that you can get on the web to understand these web interfaces. This is a part of the sensor API. This is the ambient light sensor interface. And it tells that, yeah, there is not much of support, but if you enable the flag, the support is there. So support is there on Chromium based browser and Opera and Edge, Chrome, and other builds of Chrome. So it is only allowed in HTTPS, that's why we are using glitch. And the way to activate it is, I'll just go here, I don't need this, yeah. So if ambient light sensor is available, if it's not, you will just say it's not supported, as simple as that. If it is, you will take the permission to use ambient light sensor. If the permission is denied, means we are not allowing ambient light sensor, so it will not be able to use it. Otherwise, it will start a ambient light sensor that will check it again and again at every 1 second to know what's the value. And it will be updating the illuminance value here in the update function that we have for update illuminance. So here we are just saying that update the text content according to whatever the sensor dot illuminance is. And this is the whole core functionality. So if I were to remove everything here, then this particular line means everything about the code. This is deciding everything. This is telling me the value that I want to use. And if it's not, then there are a bunch of lines written just to get the error, like if the permission was denied, then it's an error, we can just remove that. If I were to suppose to take a case where everything just works out of the box, and let's say that we don't care about permissions here, and let's just take an example where it will always work, so we do not have to care about this. So we are just starting the sensor. We are we are not catching any error right now. We are just saying that, yeah, if you exist, just read the value and just update this. And here we have values in OKLCH color. And if you don't know about the OK lab cylindrical OKLCH, so I will just make you visit oklch.com. Here you can actually understand why I'm preferring OKLCH, which has this lightness value that tells how light a color is. So if I go to 100, it will turn to white, and if I go to 0, it will be black. Definitely, because it is the lightness parameter. I'm just changing the lightness. So I'm just playing with the shades of gray here. I'm just trying to make it more lighter, more darker, based on the illuminescence value that you are getting from sensor. And that's the whole logic behind it. So I hope that you understand. It is a really good thing that we can have some use cases like a glow in the dark feature for such hoodies. And if a website wants to use it for e-commerce, then they can just make a website that says, yeah, if you just take this phone to a darker place, and you might get something like a dark or lighter value depending on in how much light you are. So if I were to take this to a value of, well, let's say 1000, then it will be entirely white. And if I were to go to somewhere like 0, if I just put my hand in front of it, then it will be going to a very low value like 0. So this is how it is working. And I think that I will have to hide it. Yeah. So it does work like that. And if you understand the logic, then we can go to the next round, is the designing part. So how did I decide that I wanted to use it for this kind of effect, and how did I went about it? Is, firstly, I had this very beautiful hoodie to understand it. And secondly, I tried to make the designs in Figma first. So here are the pictures that I took, and here is the light and here is the dark version. And I just made it vertically, I would say vertical instead of at a slanted angle. And I first tried to go for a easier way by tracing it, but this did not work. Then I used the pen tool and created something that looks like this, but this did not work too. So it didn't accurately represent what I wanted to make. And also it was very difficult to color the insides of it, because now I have to again use the pen tool to be able to, the pencil tool, and again be able to fill the colors, which is, I would say, not the best solution. And this was also not the best solution. So what I went with was to create everything using the pen, not the pencil tool, the pen tool. And then I just started off by making each and every yeah. So it will take you a lot of time. Then you can just make it a bit rounder, like this. So I'm just showing as an example how would you do it, or how would you create this. And I would just make it a bit more round, and then I will just increase the, here you can see it. So this is the way you can go about it, and this is how I created the whole thing. And there is another twist to it, because now you know that there are two kinds of colors, right? There is this neon, where I need a class of neon, and there is this white, which is the actual light version, where you are in the brightest light. So let's now go to the I will just place everything back to how it was. And now I will, now if you understand the design, and this is like, I know that what my sensor value is, I know that how I can illuminate it, and I know that how these design would be, or how it would act when my sensor value changes. So if I am on a darker value, then I would want this to have an opacity of 1. And if I am on a very very darker place where I have a low value of illuminate, So I would be making this of a low opacity. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, this was the actual example. So I will just go to the real website that is here. There is a bunch of stuff that I have written about it, so you could also read that why I wanted this kind of thing for e-commerce website, how they can use it. And now let's not waste any time. The first thing that comes into picture is the SVG. The whole thing, this whole great effect that you're seeing. And yeah, did you see what happened? I also have created a hover effect. So there is this eyes moving, but don't worry about it. That's the least of the complexities that it has. And there is a hover effect, which is a fallback, because right now you can see that the sensor is not present on this particular website, which is why I had to create a fallback as well. So let's take a look, and it is pretty basic. So I have this SVG. I have two kinds of classes. One is called a neon class, and the other is not mentioned with a class name. So you have this neon, and don't worry if you see a lot of CSS. The reason is I have created all the CSS variables up on the top, and I'm using a light dark. So there is a lighter version of it when uh, by lighter version I mean when you are not in dark mode. So that also has the whole features with a different bunch of colors that are selected. And I decided that how will I trigger it? So if it is having the class of neon, or if it is not having the class of neon, and if it does not have the sensor, then it will have a fallback class added. So it works on opacity levels on hover instead of being worrying about this. And the main idea was presented in JS. So as you saw, the previous example, what it was doing was it has the value of 1000 here, but here I'm dealing with room colors where we do not get a lot of sunlight. I saw that when I went with this example in direct sunlight, then I had values like 20,000, 30,000 of illuminescence through the sensor dot illumines value. But the thing was that I wanted to make it on a lower 100 value because it is good for our use case here. The next thing was that I would just go to the one thing that I can do here would be just remove anything that is, yeah. So you know that this, what was this? This was just to initialize. I'm just going to reduce the complexity here. So initialize the sensor, get illuminance, and I know that I cannot pronounce it for the sake of it, but yeah, I will try to. Illuminance value, and the section says that if I encounter this value, just like we had the update illuminance value, so I always have the glow illustration to glow it obviously. And it says that after I've started my sensor, which is dictated by this bunch of code that I'm hiding for to so that you don't care about the complexity, then I'm saying that if it is greater than 100, if it is greater than 50, or if it is less than 50, then if it is less than 50, I would just want you to make the opacity of zero point 0.2 for all the objects that are not neon, and any object that is neon should be 1. So kind of like if I hover over it, okay, I remove the okay, so kind of like this. So it says that if I have a value of 0 to illuminate, then the way that I want this to work, and I will just show you with the real example instead of hovering over, which is a fallback, which is a simple fallback. That yeah, for low values, make anything that is neon a 1, and make anything that is not a neon a 0.2. For a value like 50, so I will just make it a little I will just take my phone to a bit lighter place, and yeah, so now I'm saying that if the value is 50 or greater, then I would want the opacity of any lighter content to 1, but I would want some kind of opacity neon to a value of 0.2 here. And lastly, if it is 1, so I will just take my phone to the brightest place in the room I have right now, which is in front of my laptop, not worrying too much to take it in front of a bulb or something. So yeah, so now I'm saying that if it is greater than 100, then I would want this to be 1 and anything that is neon to be 0. So this is how I have my variable set up, and this is how I am updating my variables, and this is all working out really wonderfully. So yeah, that was the whole logic of it. And now you are able to understand how we can get these kinds of effects and how this sensor works. There are not many great examples out there for this sensor, and I really loved it. The way I look at it is, how can I create some use cases? What would be the most creative thing that I can do with it? And I always wear this hoodie, which I really love because it glows in the dark. So I thought, yeah, it can work this way. And that's how it all came together. And believe me, this is coming to two very great places. It would be posted on developer.google.com, developer.chrome.com, sorry, and would be also posted to Mozilla, which is the MDN web docs. And one more thing, and that would be the end of the video. I mean, that's all. I will be just sending you the code. You can just see the core principle and the actual example where I have a bunch of CSS also written to change the opacity, change some trivial things, but it all goes around the illuminate effect of the sensor. And yeah, so I wanted to show you that. Yeah, this. So I had this really great, wonderful adventure to be contributing to MDN for Mozilla, and now I have my name on their landing page, which is really great. So it is that I am still contributing and will continue to keep contributing for years and years. But yeah, I really love that how they admired the work that I have done so far in the DOM and SVG examples, specifically in the baseline widely available APIs. And this is one of the APIs that I do see coming up as a widely newly available to a widely baseline available API, and I would hope that it soon comes so that more browsers can support it. Right now, if something cannot support it, I have a fallback of hover, which does similar effect, but yeah, it does not get the same kind of job done the way that you see in this kind of example, which I really love. So that was all. This is also coming to two great places, so it will have more people, wonderful people, to be seeing this example, taking a look what the demo could do, what the example could do. I would also give a bit difference, but there's a bit of difference between example and demo. Example is basically that shows you the least amount of code that is able to produce the effect that the API could give, while a demo can have more cognitive load with a lot of things that are going to show what the API could unlock. The last thing, it got a solid review from Adam Argyle, who is the Google CSS lead and a Google DevRel, that it was very fun to see the sensor.illuminance value as lightness in OKLCH. And yeah, I hope that this goes a long way and many people just adopt it as a glow in the dark effect, and this is why I created it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It was very fun to be showing this. I'll be linking down all the things, and yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you.